Hello, colleagues. Welcome to this short interaction. I'm sure that this is going to be very informative. The reason is because we have started a new initiative, which is for the first time in India, and it's really a new idea. And whenever there is a new idea, people have a lot of questions about that. And so we are going to share some information about that quest. The quest is Johari Medical and Research Foundation Quest, from curiosity to evidence. And with this, we are going to give you some information. However, in spite of that, if you have some question, please feel free to contact us on the email address that's a quest@gmrf.in. So first of all, I would like to ask Dr. Johari about what is this quest and why you have that idea.
Dhiren, to tell you briefly, what basically curiosity was your idea, and you wanted people to be curious about many things, which are related to our field. There are so many times the situation we encounter, where we do not know the answer and we do a best guess treatment or we do an empiric treatment without any proof really of what we are doing, whether it is right or wrong. Sometimes it's based on experience, sometimes it's based on logic and reasoning. Hard data is missing, and I think that applies to a large, number of topics in pediatric orthopedics. Many cases in pediatric orthopedics, we don't really have answers. So you came up with this idea that we should excite curiosity among our youngsters, to ask questions. We discussed this and we went one step further that this curiosity should be harnessed, and we should actually be able to come up with answers. It is not only that we want to know what is missing. I think a lot of people know what is missing. But yes, that is the important first part, that okay, we take a subject. The subject may be, say, Perthes disease, it may be cerebral palsy, Crouch in cerebral palsy, it could be equinus in cerebral palsy. And we try to define, what is unknown in that field. Can we put down what is important for us, what knowledge is missing, that's a gap in our knowledge, and can we put it down in the form of a question, that we can ask a question. For example, you know, knee deformity. Why does knee deformity occur, I'll give you an example in cerebral palsy. Knee deformity occurs very often, and I have always wondered, the hamstrings are not very strong, The quads is actually stronger than the hamstring. But why does the knee deformity then take place, So what is the reason? So can we sort of list these important points as questions? And that would demand a study of the subject or at least a reflection on that subject. Then you list the questions. You put up those 5 important questions, what you think are not very well known to everyone. And then also you propose, that suppose you were the person in charge to study these 5 questions, how would you go about it? So that's a proposal from your side that, okay, I will study this in this fashion, and we want also that you probably have read important literature, so if you can give us some references to probably the problem or to the solutions, likely solutions. If you can find some answers, you can give it to us in the form of that presentation which you're going to do, and that way I think we'll excite the curiosity and we may come up with some answers. So when I refer to us, I mean it is actually the credit will go to the person who's designing those questions and proposing the answer, But we are a sort of medium to channelize all this, into a proper format. I think would that give a rough idea of what Quest is, So the first round is about curiosity, Define your questions which you feel are unknown. Define how you would study those and give us some background information. To summary, this would be a summary of what I want to say.
Okay, so like as you rightly said, the round one would be of a shorter duration. It would be more of a
Correct.
theoretical. But
Correct.
round two, which is more important, and ultimately that would lead to a substantial research or a solid evidence that would
Right.
probably take a longer time. So
Right.
basically, this quest has two rounds. The first is a shorter round, more of a theoretical, finding out the knowledge gap. And the more important thing is the second one, which is where we really try to find out the answer for the knowledge gap. Right.
Correct.
So with that
So
basic understanding, yeah, please.
yeah, so if I think the idea has been clarified, Dhiren, I would want you to throw some light on the application process. We've been discussing this for the last so many maybe days or weeks, I should say. This idea has been growing in our head. Every now and then we've been exchanging mail. So next question will be actually for you. Because you're looking into the practical aspect of all this. So who can apply, how do they apply, these sort of questions, if you can throw some light on those.
Yeah. So basically, we have tried to keep it as simple as possible. So basically, anyone who is interested in participating in this quest, they simply have to click on the Google Form link. And on that form, there are only six simple questions, something like name, their WhatsApp number, their email ID, their institute, and the date of birth. Now, once they fill this six information, they have registered for this quest. So that's over. The next question, when we have asked for the date, the people would be thinking that are we going to keep it restricted for certain age or it's open for all? Yes, the answer to that is we want younger people to have more curiosity. But for this quest, there is no age limit. Anyone can participate in this. So that's about age. There is no restriction. Anyone can participate. Anyone from the teaching institute, anyone who is in a private practice can also participate. So we don't want to restrict curiosity only to a certain group of people. And the third point is like, again, yes, our main aim is to promote the research in India, but still any young people who have idea, they can also participate in that contest. The only limitation for the foreign participants is that we cannot give them the award. So that's the monetary award will not be possible for them to receive because of the government restrictions. However, like they will get the certificate and they can definitely participate in this part. So that is about the simplicity of the registration process. Now, I would just like to like give you the uh, deadline. The first deadline is for the registration, and that's the 15th November. You really don't have to do much things for registering, so we have kept it early. However, after that, you have to submit your proposal or something like your idea. And for that, the last date of submission is 25th of November. So, Dr. Johari, I would like to give you the brief understanding like what they are supposed to do in that submission.
Okay. Okay. Dhiren, I would just like to add one point, because as we grow older, it has been shown in a lot of studies, that our curiosity level actually keeps diminishing, because we accept many things as facts of life. We say, okay, I don't want to break my head into why this happens. I accepted it and I will go ahead. But the younger people and the younger the person, we see children asking us many questions. So that is why this round primarily was for, people who are less than 40. But it doesn't mean, we can always have exceptions and we can have people over 40 also who are of the curious type or curious nature, and we want them also to participate. I think it will be a very sort of a invaluable input which we'll be getting from them. Now you asked me about the format of participation. So we have discussed the idea of this whole thing. So we thought the best way would be that if they can make a PPT, it's simple to make and everything can be very well expressed in the PPT like a presentation. So a PPT of maximum 15 slides should suffice. In fact, it will be much lesser than that, maybe actually 7 or 8 slides, but somebody has some point, they can elaborate. So the first part could give the background of the subject, why they were interested in that subject. And then what are those unknown questions, questions which we don't have answers. So if they can then list down those questions, probably the five most important questions. There will be many, many questions around the subject, but the five most important questions can be listed. Then what they can do is to propose the way they will study those questions in detail. So if they were to study, how can it be studied? This is a sort of theoretical exercise. Some may have practical experience, but basically it is for your imagination to run riot. So if I have to study this, I don't know, and I have to study, okay, one could be books, literature, one could be by some simple experiment, could be by a biomechanical study, it could be probably done in the research lab, it could be in collaboration with the engineer, or some such things, the proposal as to how you would then study those problems, and the important references which will help us, either for the problem itself or for the solution itself. So if I have to find the solution and I need a biomechanical approach, is there some biomechanical literature which can solve that problem? Or if I have to collaborate with another discipline, say for a cerebral palsy patient, it could be something in neurology or it could be something in imaging, for example. So I probably have to do MRIs and I have to study those. Then maybe like some references related to that field, interdisciplinary field. So in brief, like PPT format, which is easy to make, maximum of 15 slides, and you submit that by the last date. A panel of judges will go through that and pick up, the presentation which actually gives the maximum insight into what we do not know about a particular subject, and that becomes a very valuable source of reference because every time in books we find what is known has been put in or what we think is known has been put in, but there is hardly any textbook which will tell us, what is unknown. We all keep coming across it, but we don't really bother to put it down, and this is an exercise in putting down that unknown parameter, unknown factor, what we do not know about the subject, what is the knowledge gap or lacuna. So this is an important exercise, I feel. So
Okay,
I,
so
I, I would say that this is the way I would go about it. If you have any other questions or any suggestion how we should modify the format, you're most welcome, Dhiren.
yeah, so basically, you clarified it really well that what we don't know should be the first part in their presentation. And after
Correct.
that, we don't want to end over there. Basically,
Right.
ultimately, we want to go towards finding out the answer. And for that, they need to give the plan how they would try to find out the answer. And basically, on that plan, we are going to select them for the round two. So, yes, so usually, like the last date of the for the submission is 25th November, and within 4 weeks, that means by 25th of December, we will be able to select. When I say we, it's basically the panel of judges. They will select the best submission where they have a concrete plan for the next step. That's round two, and we will select them. So not all will be going to the round two. Only those who are qualifying in round one will go for round two. And after that, again, we will give them a time to come out with a concrete suggestions for going for round two and how they are going to take it forward. So that's for the round two. Yeah. So now, would you like to add more about the research part and all that?
Yes, Dhiren. So the culmination of this exercise really is to do some research, and to find out some answers to the problems which you have yourself encountered. So whatever questions have been listed, and your proposal is there as to how you'll study them. So if you want to put that in practice, we are here to help, and we will select these projects and fund those projects. So what they need to do is to put up a project proposal in round two where they say, okay, this is our proposed research aim, or objective of our research is this. We are going to do this. So it may be a very narrow focus area. We are going to work in this area. And this is how we are going to go about it after having explained the background and what the aims and objective of the research is as to how you will actually study or how will you carry out that research. So that is like the material and methods part. So that is what they need to tell us, how they will go about studying, and then what is required for that study, where they need help. For example, maybe we can link people projects to the mentors, So somebody is sort of an expert in a particular area, they may be interested. So we want to link the mentee to the mentor, somebody is interested in biomechanical problems, then we can link him to a biomechanical mentor, a mentor who has experience of biomechanics, and he can get that guidance and they can pursue the research. Eligible projects will be financed by the foundation, by the Johari Medical and Research Foundation. We can, of course, only do a few good projects which we can fund well. But the important thing is that we envisage this as a starting point, for something which is more useful and something which is bigger. Tomorrow, if more and more people apply for these research grants, we can tap in, many sources to actually get those research grants. And this has been a fond hope of mine, that abroad it is very common for people to donate for research, and in India it is not at all common. So if you talk to somebody, he says, what is research? We don't understand, a lay person, but if we can emphasize that this is a very important aspect, of advancement of knowledge for better quality of care of people, So if we do this, we sort of envisage this will be a starting point for some sort of a change in the whole environment scenario, That is what I feel.
Okay, so as I understand, the round two will over by say again a month's time, but that's the beginning of the longer period. That's actual research. So
Right,
actual research may take 6 months, 9 months, 1 year, depending on the problem and the study. But that's going to be the longer period. And yes, as you rightly said, the Johari Medical and Research Foundation will be supporting those projects financially. So this is probably the new idea. And as I said, the first of its kind in India, because a private organization supporting the research is very new for India. And we are going towards that direction.
right,
So I think that
right, Dhiren.
this covers almost everything what we
Yeah.
want to convey to our participants. And come out with the newer ideas, and I am sure that initially you will find it difficult, but with time probably the thinking in this manner will become the routine, and
Mhm.
we said that research will probably inculcate in India also. It's there, but I think that it will grow and it will become more commoner with everyone.
Right. Right, Dhiren. There may be a query about how to apply for round two and all that. I think that knowledge will flow, eventually. We apply for
Exactly.
round one. We have the results of round one. By then, announcements will be made for round two and the process of application, etc. All those details will be there, by that time.
Yeah, and we just would like to say that we are basically supporting the research, and whatever concern you have, whatever suggestions you have, please let us know. And we are open to any suggestion which makes this thing easy for you. At the same time, the results are better. So we are open for that.
Yes, Dhiren. I think
Yeah,
that summarizes very well. Thank you.
thank you.